At the start of this year, in December, we actually published our 2024 predictions, and we said that Bitcoin would trade to new all-time highs above $80,000 a coin. Based on what we're seeing in our ETF and these other ETFs, I think we have to revise that upwards. It could be 100,000, it could be 200,000, it could be higher than that. There's simply this massive supply-demand dynamic going on, net new demand and a fixed supply, and actually a reduction in new supply coming up in April with the halvening. Sometimes investing is complex, sometimes it's easy. With Bitcoin right now, it's just about supply demand, and there's too much demand and not enough supply.
There's too much demand and not enough supply as Bitcoin breaks 2024 highs, pushing up against all-time highs. Wells Fargo and Bank of America's Merrill are now pushing Bitcoin ETFs to their clients. Morgan Stanley even coming out and saying that they're considering offering Bitcoin ETFs. Understand that yesterday, the Bitcoin ETFs took 10,000 Bitcoins off the market. That same time frame, only about 900 new Bitcoins were produced. Do the math. Bitcoin goes much higher, and most importantly, we'll likely see buying increase as we edge closer to the halving. Then we'll see the daily minted mined Bitcoin half from 900 to 450. Exchange supply is dwindling. 4 years ago, there were 3 million Bitcoin on exchanges. Today, there are only just 2 million Bitcoin on exchanges. Probably less than 4 years, there'll only be less than 1 million Bitcoin on exchanges because the daily minted Bitcoin gets halved very soon, and then 4 years later, same thing, and institutions keep buying at an increasing record pace. These ETFs are the most successful ETFs of all time. This will go down in history. Take a look at the data. Take a look at the metrics. It is amazing what we're seeing. Bitcoin holders were right. People who follow this channel were right. The Bitcoin ETFs have now taken 5.57 billion in just 2 weeks. Yesterday was a record day. Momentum is building. 1 billion plus single days coming soon. Please. Don't be like Greg. Please don't be like Greg. Do not sell too early. Very reminiscent of gold. Gold's 1970 to 2009 price action right here looks strikingly similar to Bitcoin's chart over the last few years. In a digital interconnected world, adoption happens much faster. We're now in the price discovery phase for the next global store of value, Bitcoin. Historic times. Again, I showed you this chart 6 months ago, almost a year ago now. We showed you this chart. This is what happened when the gold spot ETFs hit. Why couldn't Bitcoin do this? I think Bitcoin could do more than this because when there was a greater demand for gold, they mined more gold. They do that with every commodity. They get more of the supply. With Bitcoin, they can't. Real quick, my friends, cryptocurrency taxes do not have to be scary. Pay your taxes, and you can get your taxes done in minutes through our partner, CoinLedger. Use our link below to create a free account and get your crypto taxes done. This is the TurboTax of crypto. I've used this. This is completely free to use. You do not pay upfront. You only pay at the end when you want to download your tax report. It's so easy to use. You get your crypto taxes done in minutes. All you do is connect your wallet to CoinLedger. CoinLedger automatically calculates your gains, your losses, your income in your home fiat currency for free. So you track your gains, your losses, your income for free with this software. If you use our link below, you only pay at the end if and when you want to download your tax report. Again, you must use our affiliate link to get all perks. Make sure you use our link below. These guys are like the TurboTax of crypto, but they're also trusted by regular TurboTax in that CoinLedger tax reports can be easily and simply imported into your TurboTax or TaxAct or whatever tax software you use. I've used this service before. CoinLedger Crypto Tax Service works. You will not stress over your crypto taxes if you use this. Make sure that you use our affiliate link below so that you're able to set up a free account with them and try this out for free. You use this service, it takes 5 minutes. You will have such peace of mind when you're done. Crypto taxes are easy with CoinLedger. The world is finally starting to open its eyes as to how big of a deal the Bitcoin halving is. for Bitcoin and for Bitcoin holders. Mike McGlone, the senior commodity strategist at Bloomberg Intelligence, breaks down the halving.
Wait, can you just break down this whole halving thing? I don't understand how that's okay to do that.
Well, hello, Alex. It's in the code. I have a son who's a programmer. I asked him about it. He says, no, it's the code, Dad. It's just by code, every 4 years, the supply gets cut in half. So right now, all the miners in the world will only create 900 coins a day. And then as of the halving, it'll cut to 450. So it doesn't have that high price cure that you really see affect most commodities and why most commodities are in bear markets, with the exception of gold. But it also, on the supply side, it's just the way it's set up. And as our colleague Zeke Foss wrote number go up. Well, that's Bitcoin is designed to go up, but now it's becoming an alternative currency on a global basis, and the U.S. is jumping in that fray. And also, a key thing you have to look at it from a macroeconomic standpoint is China's kind of pushing back. Remember, China's going for gold, the largest gold buyer in the world, and they were associated with this war. And the U.S. is just to approve ETFs and Bitcoin. So you see where the world's going towards intangible assets, and Bitcoin's the most significant in cryptos.
Guys, Bitcoin has already broken all-time highs in many of the top 20 currencies, not the bottom 20, the top 20. Bitcoin is 8% away from breaking all-time highs versus the US dollar, 2% away from breaking all-time highs versus the euro, 1% from the British pound, 12% from the Swiss franc. Jason Lau, the Chief Innovation Officer at OKX and Chief Operating Officer at OKCoin, breaks this down.
You know, it's actually hit all-time highs in many, many different currencies already. I think the dollar, the euro, maybe the pound and the Hong Kong dollar are just a few where it has not already hit all-time highs. Earlier this morning, it crossed 9 million Japanese yen, and some of our Japanese colleagues were excited about that. And so there's a lot of euphoria out there right now for Bitcoin.
You can see what's happening. And what excites me even more is the fact that demand is ramping up. Matt Hogan, the CIO of Bitwise, does a perfect job explaining where the demand has come from thus far and why the demand is going to ramp up and where the new demand is going to come from.
When you look at what's been driving this price action on Bitcoin, Matt, how much of this is retail investors investing directly in Bitcoin? How much of it is the ETF? How much of it is institutions in the ETF?
Absolutely. It's a great question. We're seeing enormous demand for the Bitwise Bitcoin ETF and across all of these ETFs. And the answer is it's all of those categories. You're seeing retail investors come into these ETFs. You're seeing hedge funds. You're seeing RIAs or independent financial advisors. I think there's an even bigger wave coming in a few months as we start to see the major wirehouses turn on. But this has been Bitcoin's IPO moment. It's in a new era of price discovery. And I think prices could go substantially higher from here.
Let's talk about where they could go in just a minute. But I just want to go back to this idea of who you think is buying these ETFs, meaning how much of this is retail versus institutions?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when these ETFs first launch, they're not turned on at the major wirehouses, at the major institutions. So the initial demand out of the gate for any ETF, including these, is primarily retail and independent financial advisors and hedge funds. So I think that's the primary driver. That's what we're seeing. Right. But I'll tell you, after this meeting, I'm getting on a plane to go talk to one of the largest institutional consultants in the US about this ETF. So we're going to see that next wave of institutional capital.
You did mention hedge funds, which I will put in sort of an institutional or professional category. In terms of this big move, do you think it's that money that's pushed this, or do you think it's straight retail?
Oh, I think it's both. I think it's both. It's just new demand. If you think about Bitcoin pre the ETFs, there was only a small set of investors who could buy it. Now almost everyone can buy it, and the supply-demand dynamic is just off the hook. There are 30,000 Bitcoin purchased by ETFs this week alone. Bitcoin miners have only created less than 3,000. That's what's driving the price, and it's both hedge funds and retail and that advisor community.
Hey, guys, it's not just Bitcoin anymore. Cathie Wood's ARK Invest just integrated Chainlink into its Bitcoin ETF, Chainlink's proof of reserves for its spot Bitcoin ETF. Injective after a 70-day reaccumulation, breaking out. Obviously, you guys know there's a lot of different altcoins we like. Please check back on any of our videos from the last 6 months, particularly if you want to find out about altcoins that I like. Because this is the cycle for altcoins, guys. The next big Ethereum update will be this March. EIP 4844 is an Ethereum improvement proposal aiming to boost scalability. Then, in May 2024, we'll get the first spot Ethereum ETF. I'm bullish on the Ethereum ecosystem, especially when we see stuff like this. Robinhood is integrating an Ethereum L2 Arbitrum. Robinhood wallet users will be able to swap tokens on Arbitrum-based DEXs. The altcoin bull run is just getting started. Subscribe to the channel, join the team. Again, I encourage you to look back on our videos from the past 3 to 6 months. I mean, think of it this way. Coinbase app isn't even in the top 200 chart in the App Store yet. In 2017 and 2021, it hit the #1 spot. This run hasn't even started. We're going to make so much money trading against these regular type people, according to this crypto Twitter anon. Aiden Ross and this other guy, two of the biggest streamers, getting millions, tens of millions of viewers every single time they stream. This is them talking about crypto. Seems like we know a lot more than them.
Dude, ETH is pumping right now. What are you guys' predictions with crypto? You guys think it's gonna plateau? Like, you don't want it to plateau.
Right now the time to go to sleep.
What?
Is right now the time
Yeah,
to go
do
to
we
sleep.
swap? Are we like, what should we do?
I'm keeping ETH.
You're holding it?
Yeah, I'm holding ETH. ETH is going to be stable 100%.
What is ETH going to? 5, 10K? Imagine it goes to $10,000.
It won't move that much, I don't think.
No, it won't. It's gonna peak at like 4.
4.
That's when you get the fuck out.
I'm swapping a lot.
Half.
No, not half.
Okay, I think ETH is stable though in general. And I think even though if it plateaus, if it go down, it'll go slowly.
Nah, me and Cheese were on the phone when ETH went from like 3,000 to 1,700 in one day.
That sounds.
If you're interested in making money in cryptocurrency, make sure you watch our channel every day for a not financial advice, just info and opinion. That being said, guys, we were right. This is the kind of stuff we talked about 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, and it's finally coming to fruition. Great to be in crypto.
It's depressing.
I don't want to.
What has Bitcoin ever done for mankind? Are you ever Bitcoin a Bitcoin phone?